Hello everyone, welcome to English Sucker. Today I am going to help you understand and develop an insight into the fourth lesson of Supplementary Reader Class 12 Vistas, The Enemy by Paul S. Buck. Let's get going. Brief introduction about the author. Paul Seidenstreicher Buck, 1892 to 1973. She was an American writer and novelist, and she spent several years in China. So she acquired a Chinese name, Sai Zhenzu, as she spent her childhood in China. She was the daughter of missionaries, and for her works, for her contribution in the field of literature, she had been awarded with several reputed awards like the well-famed Pulitzer Prize in 1932 and the Nobel Prize in Literature in the year 1938. Brief introduction to the story, The Enemy. The story is set during the Second World War, and here the protagonist is a Japanese doctor named Dr. Sadao, and he finds an American POW, prisoner of war, at his doorstep. And he finds himself in a dilemma that being a doctor, should he save the wounded man, or being a Japanese and devoted to his nation, should he hand over the enemy to the army? So this is the introduction, and before we start the story, let's have a brief introduction about the theme as well. The enemy, the story, The Enemy, deals with the conflict between man's humane feelings and the prejudices created by nation at war, during war. In fact, the story raises questions about the ethics of a human being at the time of war. The story at the same time condemns racial discrimination and hails the superiority of humanity above any other thing. The story starts like this. We should remember the central character is Dr. Sadao Hoki. Dr. Sadao Hoki's house was built on a spot off the Japanese coast where, as a little boy, he had often played. The low, square stone house was set upon rocks well above a narrow beach that was outlined, boundaried with bent pines. As a boy, Sadao had climbed the pines, supporting himself on his bare feet, as he had seen men do in the South Seas when they climbed for coconuts. So up to here we learn about the location of Dr. Sadao Hoki's house near the Japanese coast, and at the same time we learn that he had spent his childhood almost at the same place, and as a boy he had tried to climb those pine trees, just imitating the men he had seen doing in the South Seas for coconuts. So his father had taken him often to these islands of those seas, and whenever he went to those islands with his father, his father never missed the opportunity to tell him, he never failed to say to the little brave boy Sadao at his side always, that those islands yonder, there, they are the stepping stones to the future of Japan, to the future for Japan. So Dr. Sadao's father always had a very powerful impact on the psyche of Dr. Sadao. So even after growing up, he remembers that how his father often had told him about those islands, that one day through those islands Japan would get connected with the rest of the world, and a lot of progress and development will take place. So in this way, those islands will become stepping stones or path to success to the future for Japan. Now, so Dr. Sadao, being a very little boy, he could not have that enough far-sightedness to understand the meaning of the statement made by his father. So quite innocently he would ask, where shall we step from them? Means where would those islands lead them to? Sadao asked seriously. So even such matters are not of pleasure for children, young children, but still he would take each and every statement of his father very seriously. So whenever he would ask, inquire about, as he was very much inquisitive, and he would take every remark, every suggestion of his father very seriously. So his father would also seriously reply to him. Who knows? His father had answered. Who can limit our future? It depends on what we make it. So, at every step of life, he learned lessons from his father. His father told him that it depends completely upon the man, upon the person to shape his or her future. Sadao had taken this here means that particular statement made by his father, that future depends on what we make it today, on the efforts we do in our present. So Sadao had taken this into his mind very seriously, as he did everything told by his father. His father, who never joked or played with him, but who spent infinite pains upon him, who was his only son. Dr. Sadao's father never had fun time with him, but he always spent a lot of time shaping his character and taking pain in an immeasurable way, infinite way, to shape up his future as well. Sadao knew that his education was his father's chief concern, and most important thing for him. For this reason, and as education of his son was important for Sadao's father, so for this reason he had been sent at the age of 22 to America to learn all that could be learned of surgery and medicine, and this happened before the war took place. So here at this point we see that although Sadao was the only son of his father, but he didn't hesitate to send him to America to acquire higher education and to learn about surgery and medicine. So he had come back, and when at the age of 30 he came back, and before his father died, his father was fortunate enough to see his son becoming a successful surgeon, and he had seen Sadao become famous not only as surgeon but as a scientist, because moreover, because Sadao was perfecting during wartime, because he was busy in the invention of a kind of medicine that would render or that would make wounds entirely clean. So as it was wartime, so almost every day several soldiers would get injured, and so certain medicines were required that would have quick impact on the injuries. So Dr. Sadao was busy in perfecting a kind of medicine that would cure the wounds very quickly. So this was one of the reasons that he had not been sent abroad with the troops, with the soldiers, with the army. And there was one another reason that Sadao, during that time, youngsters from almost each family were forcefully recruited in the army. So, but Sadao was not sent. One reason we have discussed. What was the other reason? Also, he knew there was some slight danger that the old general, Japanese general, might need an operation for a condition for which he was now being treated medically. And for this possibility, Sadao was being kept in Japan. So Sadao was very important for the health of the old Japanese general, and at any time his attention would be demanded, and that was the reason that he was not sent. Now, the day when the story starts, Sadao is returning from his clinic, and maybe after attending the old general and attending to all other patients at different corners. So now he is on his way back to his home, and he is very much happy that very soon he would reach home. So here the narrator, the author, is commenting upon the weather. Clouds were rising from the ocean now, and the unexpected warmth temperature of the past few days had at night drawn heavy fog, caused fog mist from the cold waves of the ocean. Now Sadao watched mist, and the fog was so intense, that the mist was so intense that Sadao saw that it started hiding, screening almost the boundary of a little island near the shore, and then come creeping up the beach below the house, and then wreathing around the pines. So Sadao noticed the way gradually the mist was covering the entire scenario under its effect. So the shore almost got hidden, and then the mist moved forward, and it almost hid the pine trees, and almost it started hiding the house also. In a few minutes fog would be, and he was expecting that it will not at all be surprising that within a few minutes the fog would hide his house too. Then he would go, and in such an atmosphere he would enter his house, into the room where Hannah, his wife, would be waiting for him with the two children. But at this moment, and when he was still thinking about all this, and thinking about the weather, and thinking about, he was just almost lost in his thought, and he was at the doorstep of his house when the door was suddenly opened by his wife. But at this moment the door opened, and she looked out. Hannah, his wife, looked out, and a dark blue woolen haori over her kimono. What was her attire? Japanese female attire. Kimono, a kind of long skirt, haori, a top worn over kimono. So she came to him quite affectionately, quite lovingly, and put her arm through his arms as he stood. She gave a quite warm welcome to him. She smiled and said nothing. She just looked at him. And when he saw Hannah, when he looked into her eyes, he became nostalgic. He just started recollecting those moments when he had met Hannah in America. So he had met Hannah in America, but he had waited to fall in love with her until he was sure she was Japanese. So his love for Hannah was sincere one, although it was a love at first sight, but he was not insincere towards his culture, towards his father, because his father would never have received her unless she had been pure in her race. So when he got confirmed about the purity of her Japanese race, then he expressed his love for her, and then finally they got married after seeking permission of their parents. He wondered, now after getting married, he wonders that whom he would have married if he had not met Hannah. He feels himself very much fortunate that he met Hannah, and he got Hannah as his wife. And by that, what luck he had found her in the most casual way. He remembers the time, the moment, the particular incident, that it was by chance, literally, at an American professor's house. So they had met in America. Both of them met with each other in America at an American professor's house. The professor, now here the author comments upon the professor. The professor and his wife had been kind people, anxious to do, very much concerned for their foreign students, to do something for their few foreign students. And moreover, the students, though bored, had accepted this kindness. Sadao had often told Hannah how nearly that particular day he had not gone to Professor Harley's, the name of the professor's house, that night, because he was not willing to go. But somehow he made up his mind and decided to go, and he feels that he did the right thing, because that day only he had met Hannah. And what were the reasons that he avoided to go there? Because the rooms at the professor's house were so small, the food prepared by them so bad, and the professor's wife so voluble, so garrulous, talkative. But he had gone, and there he had found Hannah, a new student, and had felt that he would love her if it were all possible, if the circumstances favor. Now, the story comes again to the present. Now he felt her hand. Now both of them are standing almost at the doorstep of their house, and holding each other's arms. And now he felt her hand on his arm and was aware of the pleasure it gave him. He always enjoyed the company of his wife Hannah, and he thinks himself very much lucky, even though they had been married years enough to have the two children. In spite of so many years of their marriage, both of them are happy couple. For they had not married. The reason? Because they had not married heedlessly or carelessly or without seeking the attention of everyone, especially their parents in America. How did they get married? They had finished their work, their education at school, and had come home to Japan. And when his father had seen her and he was satisfied with her, her features, her nature, more importantly, the purity of her race, and then the marriage had been arranged in the old Japanese way. Although Sadao and Hannah had already planned about everything beforehand, they were perfectly happy now, and at this moment, she laid her cheek against his arm. Now they were still there, standing at the doorstep. It was at this moment that something caught their attention. Something at the shore of the Japanese coast caught their attention. That both of them saw something black coming out of the mist. And when they saw it closely and tried to understand what it was, they realized it was a figure of a man, and they thought that he was flung up out of the ocean, almost tossed out of the powerful waves of the ocean, flung almost, it seemed to them, and he was thrown out, and he got staggered, maybe by a breaker or some kind of obstacle on the way, and he was almost staggering, not able to walk properly. He staggered a few steps, he almost stumbled, and his body was outlined against the mist, the fog, his arms above his head. This was the position of the man. Then the curled mist, the mist that was curling, almost encircling everything present there, hit him again, and he disappeared again. Now, how did Sadao and Hannah react to this? Who is that? Hannah cried, and she almost dropped Sadao's arm, and they both leaned over the railing of the veranda, a kind of fencing of the veranda, a kind of roofed open space, generally extended front part of the house. So now this gesture, this way of reaction, what does this way of reaction tell us about the attitude of Sadao and Hannah? They are being good human being. They are sensitive to the problems of other human being. So immediately now they saw him again, and then they saw that the man was almost on his hands and knees on the ground. He was unable to walk. Earlier they saw the man was staggering, not able to walk, and now the man was almost on the ground, crawling, trying to move forward with the help of his hands and feet together. Then they saw him fall on his face and lie there, and there was no movement. And what did they guess? That perhaps Thou said that perhaps he may be a fisherman, and washed from his boat, tossed from the boat by the powerful waves of the ocean. And then he ran quickly down the steps, and behind him Hannah came. And when she was following Sadao, her wide sleeves of the Hauri were flying. Now, at this moment, the narrator gives us a brief description about the area. That area, a mile or two away on either side, there were fishing villages, but here was only the bare and lonely coast, dangerous with rocks, the surf beyond the surf, the foamy shore of the sea is called surf. The surf beyond the beach was spiked with rocks, pointed spiked with rocks. Somehow the man had managed to come through them. Through them means here the spiked surface of the shore with pointed rocks. So, no doubt the man must be badly torn or badly injured. So, we'll have the detailed explanation up to here. These are few words. So, you must study all these words, as some synonyms have been provided to enrich your vocabulary. Now, important questions, short answer type questions. Who was Dr. Sadao? Where was his house located? What was chief concern of Dr. Sadao's father, and what did he do for it? Where did Sadao meet Hannah? How were they married? Why was Sadao not sent abroad with the troops? How did Sadao and Hannah discover that wounded man was an American prisoner of war? This we'll learn the later part. Why did Dr. Sadao and Hannah not marry heedlessly in America? So that's all for today. If you think that this video helps you, then please give a thumbs up to it and hit the subscribe button. And last but not the least, do share it.